fellas.
Hello, welcome back to the National Driving Centre, and today's video we're going to be talking about the changes from DVSA from category B to C+E.
So, main thing, why are we here? What's changed? At the time of recording, on the 28th of October 2021, we've got just under 3 weeks till the 15th of November where everything changes. So, if you probably explain to us, Paul, what's been going on since 1997,
Yep.
then we'll talk about the changes and you can go for that.
So obviously with regards to the changes, so previously you could go from car to C+E. Now back in the day, this was doable. Back then the Arctics weren't as heavy as we had then, and the majority of them had bench seats. Now trying to instruct on a bench seat was quite nice. You could easily get to the steering wheel or grab an emergency brake, anything like that. Now in these more up-to-date tractor units, we're sitting a lot further away. Yeah. So if I need to take evasive manoeuvres, I'm leaping across the centre console of a dash. Yeah. It's not really practical, it's not really safe. But with the weight class, that's why it changed. So what it is now, currently, is you go from car, category B, then you move on to your category C, which is our rigid truck. Then from there, you can then go to your C+E, your articulated vehicle. And this could be drawbar, which we'll talk about in a minute. What they're saying they're going to change, or they will be changing on the 15th.
Oh, it's happening.
It's going to happen.
It's happening.
Is we're going to be going from car, little baby car, little one, from baby car to C+E.
Yeah, quite a change. So what, you're looking about 4 metres, potentially up to 16 and a half, 3.5 tonne, all the way up to 44 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that's the changes that's going to be happening. That, whether this is right or wrong, we're not going to get involved in this.
Not in this video.
Not necessarily. We're just going to, stay straight on the line of this one. Ultimately, the application process remains the same. So these are the things that we need to get across. The application process remains the same. If right now, before the 15th of November, you want to apply for your C+E, don't. Wait till after the 15th of November, then put that medical and application form over to the DVLA and apply to them. Then you will get it. If you do it now, within the next 3 weeks, then you're only going to be able to get the category C on there. Wait till afterwards. So that process remains the same. Still need a medical to pass your fit and healthy, to drive a larger vehicle, and then obviously what you're applying for. Send it all off with your license, perfect. We've also made a video about this, which we'll put in the description below. The other thing that remains exactly the same is the theory tests. Yeah. So you still want to do the theory tests?
Yeah, still the same.
Yeah, still got to jump over that hurdle. So multiple choice, hazard perception, and CPC still need to be passed. Whether you're going to go from car to rigid, and then rigid to C+E, or you're going to skip that new stage approach and you're going to go from car straight up to the class 1. So what else is changing from November 15th? It's just not enough. Go from a car to a class 1, that's not a big enough change. We need some more.
We need some more. They've got to throw some more stuff in there. So the changes they're going to be making is, we're getting phone calls at the moment where people are putting things on social media sites and news platforms and stuff like that, where they're saying they're getting rid of the reversing exercise. No. Not getting rid of the reversing exercise. This is not what's happening. What's going to happen is, instead of at the moment the DVSA assessing that reversing exercise and the trailer uncouple recouple, now it will be the training provider that will assess that reversing exercise and the uncouple recouple. Now the way that's going to work is, my 2 students this week, potentially in the category C or C+E, I will not assess these people. Potentially Andy or Keith will assess these people.
Any of the C+E.
Any of the C+E.
Basically someone external from you and
That's
that
it.
course that week.
That's it, but within this company
Yep.
and within us.
Yep.
So that's the change. It will still be done to the same standard and to the same potential time frame, but the standard is going to be the same. It will not be easier. You're not getting a free pass, or certainly not with us, you won't.
I love it when you go into teach mode. When the hand comes out, that's how I know.
That's when you know
there's no gimmicks here.
There's no gimmicks here. That's it. So you've got to work hard at it.
But you still have to pass the 3A. So it's called the 3A.
Yeah.
So the reversing part of it is called the 3A to move on to the 3B. If you fail the 3A with us as the training provider, you can't move on to the 3B with the DVSA that out on the road drive.
Sure.
So that is sort of the other big change that's happening of the 15th of November 2021.
Excellent.
How this sort of all ties in, this video for us is mainly to sort of talk through it. The main thing, and the press has sort of come back with, and the media and the public, is safety. Now pretty much, like for me, this is like pull the pin and just throw a grenade at you and just go safety and difficulty, talk about like the class 1 straight for a car, and I'll just walk off somewhere.
So safety is obviously the main thing that we're thinking about with these changes. It's very nice Parliament putting these changes in to save the HGV industry, but NDC is thinking of the bigger picture here, and safety is what we're mainly concerned about. So with the dramatic increase of size from 1996, with the size of vehicles and the weight of vehicles that we need to deal with, and obviously like we spoke about with the bench seat, it's mainly the safety that we're looking at here. So with regards to this, we are concentrating on the size of the vehicle, you know, making sure that you guys are safe out there when you go out and drive these vehicles.
It's not just the size that's changed, it's the roads, the conditions, everything is busier.
Yeah.
Like the internet, people buy now, I want it delivered tomorrow. There's more everything out on the roads, which makes it obviously a lot harder for people delivering. You know, if you want to be in an articulated lorry in central London, like delivering whatever, that is a lot harder this many years down the line. Ennsville.
And the increase in cyclists and those fantastic e-scooters that are out there.
You watch out for cyclists, tell you what, I'm a cyclist, watch yourself. At the moment, you know, the C+E pass rate generally across the UK is not that hot.
Yeah.
There's a reason for it. And they have category C licenses to go up to that point. So that is the other big part of this, where if you're thinking of going straight from your car all the way up to a class 1, just know that that test is not easy. I can see you grinning. I have never taught anybody in a class 1.
Yeah.
That is your domain, but that is not straightforward.
That's it. You know, some of the assessments that obviously we do all the time. You know, an assessment in a category C vehicle to drive that category C vehicle. Rarely, I mean very rarely, would I take someone from that assessment and say, well, you might as well leap to C+E because you're amazing. 1%. 2% if you're lucky. You know, it's so.
They might have been bus drivers beforehand.
Exactly.
They could have had experience doing whatever, maybe another country.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose you're linking quite nicely into what is NDC going to do.
Yeah.
So at the moment, the government have come out with these changes and said, right, everybody's supposed to be doing this from the 15th of November, and all training providers at the time sort of looking around going, oh, well, what's this going to look like?
Yeah.
So other companies, and again, not saying it's right, wrong, we'll just use the word different ways of doing it, is you're looking at an 8-day, 9-day course from car up to C+E. So that one test at the end on the day 8 or day 9, so you might do a little bit of like rigid on the first week, 3, maybe 4 days, and then you go into your C+E. So I think this is probably where we come into it, where we will differ. That is a tremendous amount of stress on that last test. Bear in mind, the cost of this is significantly higher than just going to a category C. Like, so let's be sort of quite flippant with money.
Yeah.
Across the UK, $2,500, an 9-day course,
absolutely.
$2,500.
Absolutely.
You're probably not getting anything cheaper, and if you are, probably be careful of those. That, when you're going out with that DVSA examiner on that final day after 8 days training, 7 days training, you got 2.5K on the line. 2,500. That's a lot of stress.
That's a lot.
People struggle with 5-day courses, and it's all on the line for 2,500.
Yeah. To get every single mirror check in, to get every single.
Well, it starts with the reverse.
It
starts with the reverse, which is the divider. This is the real divider. For class 1 trainees. Is the reverse. That's the thing that people struggle with the most. The trailer drop you can get through, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Even with that being taken away to the training providers, they should still be moderating you at that high
Without
standard.
doubt, without
That won't
doubt.
change. So that's still not going to change. You're still going to be a little bit sweaty in the palms
Of course.
walking out to there.
Of course.
So with that in mind, this is sort of what we're planning on doing.
Yeah.
So I'll pass over to you.
So what we're looking at doing is, instead of, like Lawrence said, putting everything, all your eggs in one basket on that final test day, we're going to put a split in the middle, okay? Now, we spoke about doing a review on the, let's say, the 5th day, and say, we'll see how that driver's getting on.
progress check.
A progress check.
Progress
We'll
check.
see how you're getting on, and we'll see whether you're ready to step up to that C+E. But to give you something out of it on that halfway section, what we're going to say is we're going to put you through a Category C test with a DVSA examiner. So that's completely independent from the National Driving Centre, and it will give you a complete view of, number one, what the test looks like, how he's going to talk to you, how he's going to interact, how that test looks like, and potentially where you could go.
Yeah.
So it gives a fantastic view of where that looks, what that test could look like. And not only that, you're ready to then step up, if you're ready to step up,
Yeah.
to go to that C+E after that stage.
The whole thing about this, you don't have to do it.
No.
You don't have to do it.
No.
But at the halfway stage, having paid a significant amount of money, we understand the industry, we understand training, we understand what people are like across a broad spectrum of, you could be amazing or you could require a lot of work from a car. You're not here to spend £1,500 upwards to just have a nice week. If you're going to do that, go to Disneyland. Like, you're here for an end product, so, and an end result of that license, whatever that license may be. So that's why halfway through, let's say a 10-day course, because we'll do it as a 10-day
Yeah.
course. Halfway through the 10-day course, you will have your Category C rigid test. You're like, why do I need to do that? Well, look at it this way. It's going to be involved and it's going to be included in our price, because at that point, you go out and do your rigid test. If you pass, you've already got something from that training. Like, you will have a job in London at the moment. I can't guarantee you it, but in London, for example, where we are at the time of shooting, you're going to be able to get £30,000
Potential
plus.
earnings,
and
absolutely.
upwards. I'm not going to go
Absolutely.
lofty prices.
That's it.
Straight away.
That's in your pocket. That's, you
Ah,
can keep that.
I knew you were going to
That
do
is
this.
ready to go.
The game show element.
It's not over yet. You've got your 32 grand. That's safe.
But
That's
it is-
not going nowhere.
Do you know what? That is a good reference,
Yeah.
in fairness. That is the £32,000 question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
Like, you are not going to come away from this driving course with anything less than, not 32 grand, but it could be
But
a
potential.
£32,000 job, couldn't
Yeah,
it?
absolutely.
So that Category C, £32,000 job. Look at it that way. Whereas if you do the 8-9 day course with it all on that last day, you're spending thousands and you could leave with nothing.
Nothing.
Chris Tarrant or Jeremy Clarkson just like casually sweeps you out the studio.
There's no phone a friend.
There's no phone a friend.
You're done. You're really
There's no
done.
phone a friend that didn't say my friend.
No.
Can't get
No,
through to him.
This is it.
That's
This
another
is
story.
it. But
Move
what
on.
about if I fail that Category C?
So that's where it becomes interesting, because if you fail the Category C, technically you're not going for the Category C. So if
No,
I, yeah,
no,
so if,
yes.
no, that's what I'm saying. So technically you're not. So if I failed it, I've then got that moment to go. The gravity will probably hit you and think, I've just failed on the smaller vehicle, and I might have failed by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Can I even do the Class 1?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and that reality should hit in at that point.
Absolutely.
It should hit in. So us as a company, what we're going to do is, you've obviously paid your full course fee. Like, if you want to, we will obviously put you through a retest. You can repatriate some of that money
Yeah.
that you put in, obviously, and you can go on and get your Category C license. Retest, pass it, you've got that.
That's
and
it.
if you don't want to do the C+E from that point, you know, do you know what? It's quite enough for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm out. We'll refund the rest. That is what we are. That is what we're promising going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you could go, do you know what, I narrowly failed, and your instructor turns around, you can turn around to me and go, Joe Lawrence, you can absolutely do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's a silly mistake.
That's it.
Little
Little bit of nerves.
little bit of nerves.
Yeah.
You know what the test looks like now. You know, you can then move on and do
Absolutely.
the C+E
Absolutely.
course, that, you know, that 5 days.
Yeah.
That is the point, I suppose, like you as an instructor, just a more professional way of going, gamble! Like, gamble, go for it. It's not a gamble, like, obviously, like, your instructor will know.
That's it.
But that's the way we're going to do it, because our whole point is, we understand what the landscape looks like out there through training, and then what's going to happen afterwards. You know, Eddie Stobart, reportedly, have already said They need to see 6 months worth of tacho records
Yeah.
for them to give you a job in a class 1. So this whole like, tacho records for class 2.
Yeah.
Like, and
to then leap.
to then leap up. So if you're going from car up to, well, Eddie Sobart potentially might be out already.
Yeah.
And there are lots of other firms that
Yeah.
are like that. Our whole thing is we don't want to give anybody poor advice that's going to end up people losing money, and they are not going to get through, and they're not going to get a job. As I said earlier, you are not here. You're here to have a nice time. Obviously, we enjoy training. We enjoy training you, and it's nice. It's a nice, week or two that you're here. But you're here for an outcome, which is a license to then get a job to potentially change your life for any host of reasons post-COVID, which is super important. That's the whole reason why people are doing it.
And it's hard. It is a hard thing to do. People turn up and think, well, I've paid my money. I want my license at the end of it.
But that's exactly it. You're not paying for a license, you're paying for training.
Exactly
and we have this conversation all the time, but that's what it is. And, kind of drawing back to what NDC are going to be doing on this, we only teach in fully articulated lorries. So we don't do what you might have heard as wagon and drag or drawbar.
So wagon and drag and drawbar.
Well, I'm going to put a picture right here, Paul. That is a wagon and drag drawbar, category C, that is capable of obviously having an extra unit on the back of it. So you will go and do a test and you can get your C+C entitlement from that. Not saying it's better, not saying it's easier, harder, indifferent, whatever. But look at the near side lane of every motorway and you don't see many of those around.
True.
And ultimately when you're delivering and you're going to an RDC and picking up or dropping off, you're in a fully articulated. We want to teach you the best way possible to prepare you for when you go out there and do that job.
Absolutely.
And ultimately that is not in a drawbar, so we will be doing fully articulated.
Yeah.
The other thing that we do at National Driving Centre, which Paul already mentioned, super important to us, assessments. Doesn't matter if it's our largest corporate clients that send many people to us in different groups and cohorts. Every single person, from Joe Public off the street to someone in a list of names that gets sent over to us that we have to train, they do an assessment.
Yeah.
It's super, super important, because the whole going onto the internet and click buy it now, put it in your basket for a driving course is nuts.
Yeah.
That is just nuts. They've never seen you drive. How do they know you can do this in 5 days? How do they know you can do the C+C, B to C+C in 8-9 days? They have no clue.
Yeah.
We will get you in, we will have a look at you and we'll say, you can do this. Or, this might be a stretch. Look at your money, look at the finances.
Yeah.
There's obviously risk involved. You might need more experience, but we'll be able to tell you that. Companies that do assessments, not just us, this is a general video. Companies that do assessments, especially now,
of course,
super, super important.
It gives the student or customer a chance to see us as well.
I love it. You're proper game show mode. It's all about you guys.
I love it. It gives you a chance to see us, because if there is a company out there that's willing to take your money, having never seen you drive, what could they possibly look like? Whereas, come and see us, come and see our vehicles, come and see where we are, come and meet our instructors. It will give you a chance to see us. That assessment does so much more than just allows us to see what you like behind the wheel. It does so much more. So it's a great point that we do, and it's thrived upon.
I think probably to summarise now, to conclude, it is up to you at the end of the day. It's your money, it's not ours. We can only recommend, we can only advise, we can give you ideas, expertise in training, and then what that looks like in a job, because we haven't really touched on that, like what kind of jobs that you're really going to go off and do. That's another thing, just really quickly, side noting in. Class 1, you want to earn the big money that you see on the news, you could be away from your family 4, 5, maybe more nights a week. You're going to be doing night stuff. Whereas Class 2 work, multi-drop kind of city type, you're going to see your family every day. And that is something that people don't talk about enough, I don't think.
No.
But it's up to you. It's up to the money that you want to spend, to the risk. It's that whole like age-old thing, risk reward.
Yes.
So
very true.
I've been Lawrence from National Driving Centre.
I'm Paul McIntyre. Thank you so much for watching.
Good luck out there. Make good decisions.